Hello, this is Katie again, and I am back with two cards today. We are going to do two Harry Potter Halloween cards. I am stuck on Halloween because I love Halloween. It is my favorite. I'll try and make more summary cards. Maybe I'll try and make a summary card after this, but maybe be better about it next year. It's just so hot, and I'm sweating as we speak, and I just want fall to be here already. So I am in the mood for Halloween, and I love Harry Potter. So I will be using, I've pre-planned and pre-cut some of it here, so I'll show you that. I have a Hermione and a Harry, and we'll be putting these together. Harry has his owl, and Hermione has her cat. And so the ones I'm using are from the Sassy Club. I have these ones. This is Sweet Stamp Shop. I have a few of them together because they're tall, skinny ones, so they fit a few in a pouch. So I'll be using these guys and the owl from the Sassy Club set. And then the cat is from the Mama Elephant Bootastic set. That's the cat down here. And I have my dies on the back. I'll be using that die to cut it out after I color it in. This guy I'll have to cut out. So we will put these together. I'll show you the two paper pads that I got my papers from. These two and these two, so the not bright colory purpley ones. I moved you up a little bit because I was a little too close on my last video, so I've raised you up a little higher. And so I just want to make sure I can show you what I'm looking at here. So the orange with the shiny embossed black dots, the white with the cats that are embossed to match the cat. I have white with black embossed. It's like glittery, shiny. And then I have black with embossed bats. Those came from, this one I got from my local craft store it's American Crafts, called Spooky Boo, and it's got a lot of ones with black glitter in it. And then the purple, this is purple with stars in it. I'm not sure if that is focusing. And then this is just several colored dots. And that came out of the Ghouls and Goodies from Doodlebug Design, the little 6x6. I have a lot of like loose papers in here too, but I really like this pad a lot. So I probably bought two of them, I'm not sure. So I will start with Harry. And then I stamped up the Hope Your Halloween is ... magical from the Lawn Fawn, this set here, called Costume Party. So Lawn Fawn Costume Party is where the sentiment came from. And so for the sentiment, I'm just going to show you with a 1-inch punch, the square punch from Stampin' Up. I just flip it over to do banners. I was looking for a banner stamp with a matching die, and I think I might have one from like Paper Tray Ink, but those stamps, that'll be a separate video when I do. I didn't keep very good track of those, honestly. I bought a lot of those for a long time, so if I can tell that they're Paper Tray Ink, I might do a collection video for Paper Tray Ink, but a lot of them are so old at this point. I think I have a banner set with matching dies, but I'm not quite sure, and I didn't want to dig into it right now, so I just did this, and I'm going to turn it into a banner by sticking it into the corner of my square punch. And I think this might not be long enough because I'm running into the words there, so that's not going to look right. So I think I'll restamp these. I still have it mounted, so we'll restamp that part of it. But we'll get started. I have the card base, and we'll set Harry and his owl aside. I have the card base here, and I'm going to trim this down to that size. So that will be, this is the little like perforated edge, so I want to get rid of that. So I think we'll do the 5.5 long going this way, and then the 4.25, and I'll save this piece here with my scraps. And then I finally got more, oops, I definitely just bonked you. See, this is why my setup is kind of ridiculous at times. All right, I have replaced my tape runner. I finally got more tape. They only had 2 at Michael's, but oh well. And sometimes I'll stick the tape to the back of the pattern paper. Sometimes I'll cover the card front. I think this way is a little bit easier, putting it on the pattern paper. But if I want to make sure I really have good coverage, I might put it on here instead. So I just make sure I'm on the front, and then I pin it to the upper left. I want to make sure it covers the spine side, and then I press down the rest, and the rest should be covered just fine. If there's like too much excess, I'll cut with my detail scissors from behind along the edge, but this is just fine. If it overlaps a tiny bit, I'm not worried about it. But you want to make sure that you line it up with the edge that you can't really trim off that easily. If you had, or if it was too far this way, then you can't really fix it. So we want to cover this side, and we can always trim off the other side because that's the binded edge. So we have that, and then I want this paper here cut with, I have the Little Inker Designs. It's just a stitched rectangle set, so I have the second biggest size. So we're gonna cut that out of the bats here, and I'll get my big shot for that. Okay, so just cut this lower left corner, then I can preserve the rest of the paper for another project. Hopefully I'm not shaking you too much. Okay. So I've got the bat rectangle there. I'll set aside the scraps. And then I have an oval. It's just one of the oval sizes from the Stampin' Up! Ovals. And I want to cut this is the bigger one. I'm going to do 2. So the bigger oval I'm going to do out of this patterned paper. So we have that, and then I have the size right below that. I'm going to do out of black. So we're kind of creating a layered frame looking situation. Sorry. I think this green craft mat is maybe not helping. I might take it off my desk. To be honest, I only bought it because I like the color and the background, and everyone else has it in their videos and I just love it so much. So I wanted the color because it's my favorite color, but it's proving to not help a whole lot. So I'm going to take that out of the way. We'll set aside the big shot for now. So now we're back to boring old brown and some white because I'm off center. So we have this piece, this one, and then the back of our card. So we're going to, I'm going to stick the bats to the back, and then we're going to raise up the other pieces. I just like to make sure I have the back fully covered so it sticks down. Okay, so we've got those. You can see hopefully see the shiny on both pieces. And then I'm going to stick the black oval down to this one, center that, And then we'll be lifting this up, so I'm going to use some of my Scotch foam. This is the 3M Scotch permanent mounting tape. I just buy this on Amazon. And it lasts quite a long time. Okay. And then we'll get one more piece on there. I usually just kind of eyeball it and then rip it off. If I need it more precise, I'll cut it with scissors. But it's pretty easily tearable. Tearable, not terrible. It's great. So then we will center this guy here. And then we eventually want our Harry and his little owl in the middle there. And then we need to put the banner for the sentiment. So I'm going to get, let's see, I think I'm going to stamp the sentiments again now. So I have it already mounted up. I'm just going to stamp them on top of each other and then cut them out at the same time. I want to give them plenty of room on either side so I can cut that banner without having to worry about it. So I'll just do that one above it a little, and then I'll show you how I would cut this one. So we'll set this aside for a second. So with the sentiments here, I'll just kind of eyeball how much room they need. Set aside my scraps. Make sure I've got plenty of room to do that banner corner. And then I need to separate these two and just make sure they're kind of evenly spaced and straight. All right, so I've got two. This one looks a little taller, so I'll shave some of that off. And I'll make this one skinnier even more. That's the only problem when I'm eyeballing stuff. It'll take me a little bit longer. Okay, so for that banner trick with the square punch, we'll flip this over. You'll see the word or the end of the word just come out a little bit. Make sure it's centered and it looks about even. And then you have your banner end. And then we'll do the same on this side. And we've got one banner. And then this side, just make sure it looks like an even little symmetrical house before you punch. And then you should be good to go. So now we have our two banners. And the scraps there. Okay, so then we want to add Harry and our owl. So I'm going to do some coloring. And I think since his owl, Hedwig, is really just white, I will do his scarf with the colors. So for my Copics, I usually don't plan colors necessarily. I just kind of pull them out based on what looks right. And I just keep them in this is a plastic shoebox, which is what they're called. Currently my markers all fit in there, so we'll see how long that lasts. So I will be coloring a little bit. I'll zoom in a little bit for this one. Hopefully I can do that all right. So I'll show you a little bit of the coloring. That is just not great. Let's see. It's really, really hard to you really just have to paint with the very, very tip of the brush. I stamped another owl on the other side that came out okay, so I'll just use him since I already went out of line on the other one. Okay, so the maroon and the goldenrod, I am using R59, which is cardinal, and then Y17, which is golden yellow, which looks close enough to the house colors to me. And we'll do Harry's scarf the same. The darker one seems to bleed a little bit faster, so I'll just go really, really light on that. I'm just going to pause while I color the rest of him, or this video is going to be very long. So I'll just give him some brown hair, give him his black jacket, and color in the rest, and then cut them out, and then I'll show you putting together the rest of this card. So I'm going to zoom out and just pause. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my Harry and Hedwig. They are kind of butting up against the black background. I'm trying to think. So if I take one of these, might need to cut that a little more. I think I can put them kind of over it so they're not entirely lost on that. So I think I'll trim this just a little bit more to make sure this fits in an envelope. So we'll go a little bit more in and just take a little more off, which is relatively easy. You can just follow the lines you already have. So that should be plenty. Take a little bit more off on this end. Okay. Alright, so I want this one to have some foam tape on the ends to hold it up, and then we'll just put some tape runner in the middle. So I'll cut a piece, just split that in two, just putting it at the ends, and then some tape runner in the middle so that it'll stick to the oval. So we'll center that one here, tape runner, foam, and then these guys, I think I will just use tape runner on the back. And place him mostly centered there. And I have my other owl on the other side. The new tape runner, when I've just loaded tape with it, is a lot easier to run on something small like this. Okay. And then for this one, since he's got glasses, I got this little, like the detail tip for the glossy accents. I had to cut off I had a better reason other than it just being in my way, but I had to cut off the thing that was connecting it. So now I have a loose lid, but this hasn't clogged on me yet. So I just tap it down and squeeze until I have something. I'll try and get the bubbles out. I'll zoom in a little bit. I'm just going to go over his glasses because I want that to look like glass. I want it to be glossy. So I just kind of usually do circles, and it's really not that hard to just fill the area you need, keeping the bubbles out. So that'll dry clear, a little less cloudy than it looks now. Okay, so that one we will set aside, and then I'll start on Hermione's. So that will be a little less cloudy and clear. And we'll set Harry up there to dry. I will zoom out a little bit here. and then we will work on Hermione. So just for the sake of the length of the video, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut this to the size of the card. I'm going to do the rectangle for the cats, and then the two oval sizes, the bigger one on the purple and the little one on the black. I'm going to cut those and then put it together like the last card, so I will pause and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the other card ready. I've raised up this portion here, so now we just have Hermione and her cat, and I'm going to color these in. I'll make this orange like her cat, Crookshanks, and then color them in and cut them out, and then I will assemble the rest with you. Alright, so I will zoom in a little bit. Sorry, we'll do about there. To assemble the rest of it. Okay. Make sure she's got some at her feet. It looked like her stamp just had like tights or something, so I colored those the yellow part, like the goldenrod color for the Gryffindor, and then I kind of just colored on shoes. So the first part is we will do the banner, and then we will need the foam squares at the ends to hold it down to the card. Okay. So just put this up a little bit. This is going to come off of the card a little bit, but that's fine. If I want to send it, I've got some bigger envelopes. So then we'll put Hermione here. And then I forgot, after I had already started cutting, that I have the die for this because it was in the Mama Elephant set, but it would have done like a bubble around it, and I cut everyone else right up against their line, so it wouldn't have looked the same anyway, or it wouldn't have looked right. So we will stick those guys down, and then I think, just to kind of match Harry a little bit, I'll do some glossy accents just on her eye, so it kind of sparkles. And then maybe in the little moon on the cat's hat. So, also for the colors, again, I just used the Cardinal R59 and Y35, no, this one, Y17 Golden Yellow for the, those are pretty close though, Y17 and Y35. For the colors, her hair was just E37 and E35 blended, and then the last part I think I brought in Toast E34 to blend in kind of the middle of her hair. The cat was YR15 and Y35 blended out, and then I just put a little strip of purple to match the purple there. So we have Harry, who is drying over here, and Hermione. So those are my two Harry Potter Halloween cards. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you next time. Thanks, bye.